Hello, you're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live conversation web television. Did you know that every third MP in the 16th Lok Sabha has criminal charges against them? Well, how difficult is it to really weed out criminals and criminalization from the Indian political system? Today's conversation is on that, and the conversation will continue, of course, on www.indiapostlive.com. Please send us your audio comments, your video comments, send us your posts, tweet us on hashtag IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Right now, joining me in the studio, Associate Editor of Frontline, Venkatesh Ramakrishnan. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. I'm looking forward to all of you, knocking on the website to give us your comments on this very critical issue. First, let me ask you, according to the Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR, I think it's a very staggering figure that 186 or 34% of the elected members of parliament have criminal charges against them. What are your views? What is your initial reaction when you hear this kind of a number?
Well, I'm not surprised when I hear this kind of number. I mean, I think it's very natural for a country which has got so much crime to reflect the kind of, crime. But then again, coming to this whole question of crime, I have a very nuanced view of this so-called criminalization of politics. Because India is a very unequal country. It has got a lot of social justice issues.
Yes.
And when people react to lack of social justice also, they are branded as criminals. Like, for example, several members of parliament belonging to the Dalit communities,
yes,
several members of parliament belonging to the backward caste communities, they have been oppressed for centuries. And when they react, it's a kind of revolt, and they get into criminal cases. So I would not, just because this number is very high, I would not, kind of look at this as an abominable phenomenon. But having said that, one negative trait that we see is the rise of rampant corruption among the members of parliament.
Right.
So that is something which we have to take seriously. So I think when we look at this whole issue of criminalization of politics, we need to actually differentiate between crime that comes up from social empowerment or struggles for social empowerment, crime that emerges out of social justice struggles, and crime that is blatantly corruption related crimes.
Right.
Yeah.
3 years back, Sonia Gandhi had said, let me quote her, she had said, we need to build a consensus on how to prevent individuals with a criminal record from contesting elections. But somehow we seem to be kind of going far away from that, and every other party, including the BJP, had agreed to what she had said.
And in fact, even as recently as last year,
yes,
the Supreme Court had come up with a order saying that...
I was just getting to that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In September 2013, the Supreme Court struck down the government petition seeking to review its decision to not allow lawmakers who have been convicted to continue in the parliament or assemblies. So there seems to be, at least as far as the judiciary is concerned, there seems to be some kind of a will to stem out criminalization, like you said, but somehow there seems to be
the whole point is how nuanced our systems are.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I of course, judiciary has been making a lot of efforts to kind of cleanse this whole system. In fact, the verdict it gave in the Fodder scam against Lalu Prasad
Yes.
Yadav, it's a watershed thing. I mean, it
Absolutely.
is something which has really shaken up the political establishment, as it were. But again, I would like to reiterate that
Yes.
that here again the judiciary also needs to make this differentiation between crimes which are related to corruption, crimes which are related to financial mismanagement, and crimes which are as part of which come up as part of a social empowerment, social justice struggle.
Right. So you're saying that also, besides what you've said, it is also true that a lot of crimes, or rather, the FIRs, so to speak, are politically motivated. That could also be. But how does one really, segregate this? How does one really work its way around this issue?
I think that's where where our systems need to have
Yes.
a clear understanding of these situations. Instead of they need to go beyond legalese to kind of really understand what are the nuances involved. They need to really look at the larger social reality. But then, that's something which we are not seeing on a regular basis actually.
And another very interesting thing that the ADR has come out with is those candidates who have criminal backgrounds and who also have money power, their chances of winning is 13% compared to those candidates with a clean record. Their chances of winning is 5%. So that itself speaks for the fact that there is a malaise in the system. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, the Election Commission has tried to, rectify this process. Like, for example, when you used to cover elections in the late 80s and early 90s, and also, I mean, right from the mid 90s onwards, in states like Madhya Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, these so-called Hindi heartland states, elections used to be generally rigged elections. I mean, people could just walk into the polling booths. In fact, I'd been witness to Suraj Dev Singh's campaign in Dhanbad in the 1990s, when he used to. His campaign was very simple. There would be one jeep full of gunmen, which will go as an advance party to any village where he's supposed to campaign. So they will go there first, and then shots will be fired in the air. They will call. Then some 10-15 shots will be fired in the air, and then they will call all the villagers, and they'll say that Suraj Dev Singh is about to come. Then Suraj Dev Singh will come after some time, and then he will say that ab to aapko message mil gaya hoga. You must have got the message by now, and all of us make sure that you vote for us.
Another very interesting thing is, what a lot of people really worry about, social scientists worry about, is that in order to get a ticket from a party, you need to spend money. After that, you're spending a whole lot of money in your campaigns. So ultimately, when somebody is elected, the 5 years are spent in actually getting that money back and also making a profit. Hence, the first issue that you raised, corruption. That is where that comes in. In fact, some more statistics. Out of the 282 elected MPs, 98 of the BJP have criminal backgrounds. 44 in Congress, 8 out of the 44 have criminal backgrounds, or rather they have been charge sheeted. 7 out of 34 of the Trinamool and 6 out of 37 of the AIA-DMK. So it seems to be like a pan-India thing, a pan party. It's not like limited to one particular party being higher or lower or anything like that. So how do you assess this this drawback that these people face, that in order to actually get a seat you're paying, and then you're paying through your nose for the campaigns, and after you win all you want to do is get that money back?
Yeah, it's not just getting the money back with multiple interests actually.
Yes,
it's not
with a profit, like I said.
not just getting the money back. I mean, this is endemic corruption as you see it in this country. It is not confined to the political class alone. I mean, if you look at the bureaucracy closely, this is something which you will see again. People pay to get plum postings, and they. In fact, I know of a Uttar Pradesh police officer who bargained with the chief minister. The institution of the chief minister itself, and told the chief minister that that you have posted me in a town which is the state's the biggest industrial town. You have posted me there only for 4 months, and you're now trying to take me away from there. I mean, I have not been able to take back even replenish the money that I have given you. And this is something, the conversation between a senior police officer and
you were privy to this?
No, I was not privy to it, but I came to know about that from the officer himself.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that's happening in our country. So this is endemic corruption, which invests money and then tries to get back money in multiple returns. So this is something which is happening all the time.
All right. Your feedback on MPs and MLAs who have criminal backgrounds and yet get elected to power. Send us your audio and video comments. Write into us. Write in your posts at www.indiapostlive.com. I'm waiting for your tweets. Hashtag IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Now let me talk to Venkatesh on the judiciary. You know, we just talked of how the judiciary is trying to clean up the system, and you know, however, the process is so slow. You just talked of Lalu Prasad Yadav's conviction, which of course was, you know, it kind of shook up the entire system, where we realized that, okay, people can get convicted. I mean, a lot of us, there was a lot of loss of faith happening there. Then you had Shibu Soren, you had Suresh Kalmadi, and all of them, you know, who were actually convicted. But don't you think that the fact that the process is so slow, you know, how do you think that can actually help? You know, a speedy judicial system, do you think that can help?
I think that the judiciary requires administrative mechanisms, new administrative mechanisms to speed up the situation. There are no indications of anything like that happening. The judicial commissions have, you know, sought to address this issue, but then you know, it's not happening. So I think this needs to be, there needs to be a judicial commission which will look into this aspect as well and kind of, you know, advance things.
Right. And for those of you who have just joined in on this conversation, we are talking about those MLAs and those MPs who have criminal backgrounds. In fact, once again, let me remind you that the ADR has said that 34% of the elected MPs, 186 of them in the 16th Lok Sabha, have criminal charges against them. For those of you who have just joined in, here is a small audio visual for you.
We may not have 33% reservation for women in parliament yet, but we certainly seem to be having so when it comes to electing candidates with a criminal background. The percentage of such MPs has gone up a shade from the 30% in 2009 to 34% in 2014. Out of these 34%, as many as 21% are facing serious criminal charges. Every third MP of the BJP faces a criminal charge, while it's down to every fifth MP in the Congress party. Regional parties like Lalu Yadav's RJD has all its 4 MPs facing criminal charges, while Maharashtra-based parties like the Shiv Sena and NCP are following behind. Politicians keep countering this argument by saying most of the charges made against them are politically motivated. But even if we buy that, what would explain the 21% of our elected MPs facing serious criminal charges?
Why was it not played earlier?
All right, so that was a small audio-visual package that we saw of you know, MPs with criminal backgrounds, and that was a little infographic that was played out for you also. I look forward to receiving your posts, your comments, audio, visual, and you can also write into us at www.indiapostlive.com, and I also look forward to your tweets on this subject. Venkatesh was just telling us about, you know, how even the criminalization needs to be looked at in the manner that they really are, in terms of corruption vis-a-vis social issues. You know, I was just reading this ADR report, and they have winners with serious criminal cases are 112, and they have themselves declared, including cases related to murder, attempt to murder, communal disharmony, crimes against women, and all of that. And cases related to murder, 9 of them have declared cases. Attempt to murder, 17 of them have declared cases. But really what you were talking about, communal disharmony is there, robbery and dacoity, there are 10, kidnapping, there are 7. But what you talked of corruption, nobody seems to, I mean, how does one really declare something like this, you know, when you're filing your nomination? Is that even possible in this present system?
No, it's not a question of you know, filing a nomination. For example, anybody who is now convicted,
right,
he's disqualified. But then there are allegations of corruption, which must be, you know, in the form of FIR or charge sheet. So I think that they would have to reflect that basically.
And another very interesting issue that I wanted to point out was, after the December 16th Delhi gang rape case, the Verma Commission report had said, you know, that and it had asked for all politicians accused of sexual crimes to be barred from office. However, 6 politicians charged with rape remain in office. So isn't that another issue that needs to be looked into?
Absolutely.
And what do you think is lacking here? Is it the political will? Is the political will lacking?
No. Basically, political will is lacking. That is one thing. But then again, there are a lot of grey areas in many of in our jurisprudence as well. So that is where the politician is able to sneak in and get across. What kind of system would really work in handling situations like this, especially sexual crimes? I have as a political observer, I cannot come up with any solution, because this is something which we see globally.
Yes.
The issue of sexual crimes. So this is not something which is confined to India. So.
But ultimately, after all these issues that we have talked about, we have talked of the various nuances of crimes, we have talked about the fact that the winnability of people with criminal records is more than those with the clean slate. But ultimately, what suffers? Governance. Isn't that the biggest, the fall guy, so to speak?
Governance suffers. I think legislative activity suffers, because the majority of legislators who come in like this, who spend money and who want to triple that or make their money, work for them many times over. They are not interested in the legislative activity. They are not interested in taking forward the parliamentary work. So that's how it ultimately ends up. So both governance as well as the primary job that the parliamentarians are entitled, or they are deputed to parliament for, parliamentary work, both these things suffer. So we need to have a cleaning system to clean up. We need to look at this from in forms of parliamentary introspection committees. We need to look at it from judicial commissions. I think it has to be a comprehensive process. It cannot be a process that is confined to one part or the other. Like many of the judgments that we have at this point of time, they are not looking at things comprehensively. So that there has to be an effort in that direction. But one does not know whether any government will actually come up with something like that.
All right, well, Narendra Modi is going to be sworn in this evening as India's next Prime Minister, and will he be able to, because he has been consistently talking about corruption, his election campaign rhetoric was all about corruption. So do you think he will be making some progress in stemming out corruption per se, when his party himself, 98 MPs are charged?
No, I think that says it all, basically.
Right.
So let us see. But the point is, Indian democracy seems to be going through a phase where where the individual's image and the kind of rhetoric that he has advanced during the election campaign, that has become a very important element of the Indian democracy. So perhaps if it works, it can change. But then a party which has got the Yediyurappas of the world, Brij Bhushan Sarans of the world, you can't really imagine that party will weed out criminalization of politics.
All right, so Venkatesh Ramakrishnan there, not very optimistic about this particular party which is in power, which has got 282 seats, actually making much headway in weeding out criminalization from politics. But it's time to wrap up this conversation now, but I will wait for your tweets, your audio and video comments on this particular issue, which is in the next few years likely to in fact be a big issue. We're going to see a lot of this being talked about, I'm sure, over the next few months and years. Thank you so much for joining, for watching. I will look forward to your audio and video posts, your comments. Or do we have somebody who's joining us? Hi. Finally, thank you so much. Okay, we have with us social activist Talat Aziz joining us. Welcome to the conversation, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Nilanjana. Ma'am, you're calling us from Gorakhpur?
Yes, I'm in Gorakhpur, Nilanjana.
Okay, I'm joined, of course, in the conversation also. We have Associate Editor of Frontline, Venkatesh Ramakrishnan. He's also joining us in the conversation. Ma'am, you come from a place
Yes.
where, it has seen a lot of,
Politics is in tumult.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm quite into the whole thing myself. I have suffered and I'm just alive because of just sheer luck and God's will that I'm just talking to you, because an attempt was made on my life with the sitting MP here. In fact, if I take you back, say 10 or 14 years, I'm talking about 99. And that was the time when the current MP from Gorakhpur started his politics in a different way.
Are you talking of
And-
Adityanath?
Yes, Aditrath. He's our local MP.
Yes.
He goes on being elected because of his religious fervor, and he tries to create a lot of trouble. And surprisingly, people vote for him, and very enthusiastically. They forget his various, how he has gone into communal politics and communalized this whole area. No development, backward area, dull area. But he wins. I mean, it's really quite surprising. But he
His
gets all
father
the-
was also 4-time MP.
Many times. I'm not clear
Okay.
on the 4 times, but not his father, his mentor, the guru. They don't marry,
yes.
as they say,
Yeah.
and they have their chelas.
Religious
And he's,
guru,
he's
yes.
going to be the next Mahant of. He's still the yogi. I mean, he's going to
Yogi
be.
Adityanath, yes.
Yes, he's going to be the Mahant. I mean, the next Mahant. But he, of course, is many times MP. I think 4th or the 5th time for Gorakhpur, which is a very backwards city and criminal. And
You talked of the attempt on your life. Can you elaborate a little
Yes.
bit what exactly happened? Tell us the story.
Niranjana, this was 1999. I was in the Samajwadi Party, and there was, Mr. Mulayam Singh also likes a lot of enthusiasm, and there was this jail bharo program.
Right.
He likes to put in people in the jail and make a political frenzy of that kind. And I was also very new to politics at that stage, and I was doing a lot of social work, and I thought I needed political power to be able to do the little things which I wanted to help people. And I was going for my jail bharo, and a yogi was trying to, there was this graveyard in district Maharajganj. Now that Maharajganj is my farm and the area where I work from politically. And he was digging up the new graves. There was some problem with the graveyard and the local people there, I mean, which could have been settled by a Pradhan level guy. But this fellow intervened. This was the time when he was just trying to show his strength in a communal kind of way. And he was breaking up these graves and planting people trees on the new graves, and havoc he was creating. So these villagers stopped us because there was this whole crowd of us going there. And I was trying to, now this area is a very stronghold of Muslims. I mean, about 42 gaons, it's called Bealis Gawa. 42 villages, all Muslim inhabitants. And this was the place where he was ransacking this graveyard. And I tried, my father was a police officer. I come from a very different kind of a background. So I thought what we could do is to stop on the main road. This village was about 2 kilometers from the main road. And we stopped there and thought that the police will come, or Rasta Roko type of a thing, I wanted to do. So, what happens is that after I was trying to stop all, there was a whole crowd of these Muslims, and I was just stopping them and saying, don't go there, they're not nice people, the police will come and they will help us and we should be here. And here comes his entourage loaded with guns, I think there were 19 vehicles and all loaded with rifles and guns, and they suddenly started shooting at me, and it was just God's will.
Can I ask you something? In these elections, ma'am, you've told us a story which was, of course, which happened in 1999. This is.
And he was killed. He was killed. I mean, in this. No.
We are talking 15 years down the line,
Hello?
where we have seen, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we are looking at an
Yes, I can.
entirely new scenario in these elections. In fact, this is the first time that we saw that caste-based political
Yes.
parties have not done well. Be it Samajwadi Party, be it the Bahujan Samaj
but they have-
Party,
whatever.
caste-based parties have not done well. And
You see, what I'm trying to say, I belong to the minority community.
no, I understand that. I'm asking you.
Yogi Adityanath has always been beyond the caste factor. He has been winning here. He has many more criminal cases, not only this 302, which is not, I mean, I'm not the one to do the FIR. It is the inspector of police who has done
Of
the
course.
FIR, and there are many more FIRs to his name.
Ma'am, what
But
I'm
he
asking
constantly
you,
wins.
do you see a change happening now? Do you see a change happening now with, the fact that...
What change? In Gorakhpur, there is no change. I suppose the whole of India has voted for Modi, who is a mass murderer, as we consider him to be. And I hope he does something good for the country now that he's there. I mean, obviously, we also respect the mandate of the country. We are
Right.
with the country. We are not separate or any. We don't have separate entities. But it's very unfortunate that people forget the criminalization. They get very enamored by these criminals and they forget that aspect. And now the
No,
development that we-
Talat, the larger issue is that there are various ways in which criminalization of politics has kind of got encouraged in this country.
Yes.
There's been criminalization in the name of communal politics. There's been criminalization in the name of caste politics. There's been criminalization
Yes.
in terms of corruption. There's been sexual crimes.
Yes.
So there have been very many dimensions to this whole question of criminalization of politics. But
Yes.
what we are trying to address here at this point of time is how well we can address something like this. What are the ways by which we can, because the people's mandate is there. That's something
Yes.
which we cannot. We should
We
never.
are-
Yeah.
Yes, we respect that. I mean, I respect that too, Venkatesh. The country has given this mandate, so we expect this man to be, I'm talking about the Prime Minister, to be, expect him to be leading this country to greater heights. We have already achieved a lot, in the international. To say that India hasn't done well in the past is a thing which you and I can
Ma'am, what Venkatesh is saying is...
not
There-
because now
There seems to be
today
an audio-
the leading,
okay.
India plays a leading role, and already we.
Okay, ma'am, what...
No, I know what you're trying.
Yeah. You can't just broadly say
No,
crime.
I know what you're.
Yeah.
No, broadly what the thing is, but criminals, they're better people who could be doing this job. But as it is the public's mandate, whether it is for Adityanath, whether it is for Narendra Modi, we have to respect that, and we expect a better kind of a scenario for my city, for this country, for this state, which is so backward. I'm talking about Gorakhpur. Very backward, no industrialization, but he's being voted again and again. 20 years down the line, he's been leading Gorakhpur. And you see, we used to have a very strong base in the Northeastern Railway. It has broken. Half of it has gone to Bihar. There was this fertilizer factory which was put up by the Congress party, which is finished now.
Ma'am, the question, the question I was asking... The question I
just
was asking
expecting
initially, is that despite the fact that Narendra Modi has come to power, who has been talking of development throughout his election campaign, you are saying that you are not optimistic about that really translating to the ground in Gorakhpur. Is that what you're saying?
Hello. I'm saying that we hope for the best.
Hope for the best. All right. Hope for the best, but still
think
slightly skeptical there. Talat Aziz, social activist. All right. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. We got you, we got you towards the
Thank
end.
you.
But thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us. And like I said, the conversation continues with your audio and video comments. Just as social activist Talat Aziz joined us, all of you are welcome to join us and talk about your thoughts on this issue. And of course, we will have more conversations throughout the day. Remember, today is the swearing in of Narendra Modi as the new Prime Minister of India. Your audio comments, video comments, posts and tweets are awaited. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.